This week on the Tiger Basketball Report, head coach Pat Skerry and I will be discussing the Tigers' latest games against Fairleigh, Dickinson, and Rio Grande. Later in the show, we'll look at the Tigers' next ball game against the Retrievers of UMBC. Stick around, fans. The Tiger Basketball Report begins now. Hello, Tiger fans, and welcome into the Towson Sports Network studios for another episode of the Tiger Basketball Report. I'm your host, Spiro Morekas. Last week, the Tigers were on break due to finals, but this past weekend, the Tigers resumed play as they traveled to Teaneck, New Jersey to take on the Knights of Fairleigh Dickinson. It was a tightly contested game, but a few mistakes allowed the Knights to defend their home court with a one-point victory over the Tigers. Let's take a look at the highlights against FDU.
Looking inside, feeds it on the left side to Davis. Davis down low to Keith along the baseline, back out to John. He'll launch a three-point shot, and it's good. John Davis with the three-point basket, and he is now 6 of 11 from three-point range on the year, and the Tigers have their biggest lead at 12-7. Back up top to Hawkins, comes down the left side, feeds it in the left corner to Keith, 8 on the shot clock. Eddie feeds out, Hawkins wide open for three, and Byron hits his second three-point basket of the night, and the Tigers with their biggest lead of the game, 8. Anderson spins, feeds it out to Edge. Edge going to drive. He gives it out to Miller for another three, and this one's good. Malik Miller with his second three. He had none coming into the game. The Tigers are down 3, 31-28, Fairleigh Dickinson's biggest lead of the game. And now Anderson starts, going to drive, goes up. Shot rolls around, won't go. Parker Rivera gets it, throws it back down, and it goes to Anderson, who puts it up and in. Tamaj threw it, but he threw it right to Anderson, who put it in, and we are tied at 33 going into halftime. Stops the dribble, throws it ahead to Davis. Davis going to drive, lays it up, and gets the roll. And John Davis puts the Tigers up 35-33. William Adalamoto gets the inbounds pass, drives, lays it up, and scores. Nice move by William. The Tigers by 3, 53-50. Over on the right to Jiggins, dribbles in, 17-foot jumper, too strong, rebound, John Davis. And then he has it stripped away. Anderson gets it back, and he puts up the shot, rejected by Eddie Keith into the bench of Fairleigh Dickinson. Back to Hawkins, to Morcell on the left wing. Mike gonna drive, Mike, finger roll is good, and the Tigers up by 5, 62-57. Morcell with 7 points. 9 on the shot clock to Morcell. Morcell to Hawkins. Hawkins dribbles in. Behind the back pass down low to Davis. Lays it up and in. Great no-look pass from Hawkins to Davis. And the Tigers back up by 6, 67-61 with 2:20 to go. Ball's loose. Davis comes up with it. Turns, shoots, no. Gets his own rebound. Goes up. Has it knocked away. And here comes FDU. 58 seconds to go. Down 3. Drive by Jiggins. He lays it up and in. And it's a one-point game with 55.1 seconds to go. Passes back to his left to Potts, hands it off to Towns, dribbles in, drives, lays it up and scores with 5.6 left. Ahead to Morcell, Mike over midcourt, lost the ball, this game is over. And the Tigers have been defeated by Fairleigh Dickinson, 69-68.
Byron Hawkins led the Tigers with 16 points, and John Davis had 14 points and 9 rebounds. Free throw shooting hurt the Tigers as they shot just 55% from the line. Joining me now, as always, the head coach of the Tigers, Pat Skerry. And, Coach, that was really an odd ball game because you led for almost the entire game, but then Fairleigh Dickinson scores with 5.6 seconds left to win, and those can sometimes be really, really difficult losses.
Yeah, tough loss, coming out of exams. As a coach, you're always concerned about that, and quite frankly, didn't think we were as sharp as we need to be in practice leading up to that compared to before exams. So, sometimes you reap what you sow. Hopefully we learned from that, but we did, despite it not playing very well, we were up about 8 under the 4-minute media, and if there were 7 or 8 things you needed to do incorrectly down the stretch, we found a way to do it, and including falling on a switch in the last play. They give him a layup, and we wasted a timeout. didn't come out and execute correctly. So hopefully we learn from that. I don't want to say we guarded pretty good. They shot 35%, we shot 50%, so that's usually a good formula for success. Foul shooting hurt us. I thought we fouled a little bit too much as well, and then we were really worried about their pressure, and I thought we spent a lot of time on it last week. We did a good job. We didn't turn it over in the backcourt at all, but we had 16 turnovers, what we call it the red zone, either on passing plays or getting the ball knocked out of our hands, so we've got to do a better job of that.
The other thing in that ball game was that it seemed like every time you guys would get that little cushion, FDU would come right back. So, and they're a very young team, but they're a team that has played a lot of close ball games, and maybe being at home helped them out, and you guys being on the road. But one thing that was good that we saw was John Davis looking more and more like John Davis, where he was injured late in training camp, didn't practice for a while, and you've been slowly working him back in, but he had a nice ball game.
Johnny's back, which was very encouraging. He practiced really well leading up to the game. We shut him down for a week after the Loyola game, nothing, just on his feet, no basketball stuff, and he's got his bounce back and his explosiveness back, and that's encouraging. You can tell in practice. So that'll help us going forward, because you kind of know what you're going to get with him every night. He's so physical and he's tough-minded, so that's a big help for us. And I hopefully we've lost 2 games on the road, literally in the waning seconds. I think the big message to our team is, and as we look at as coaches and evaluate it, is that we've got to be able to win those games. No matter who you're playing on the road, you're going to get a good shot from somebody. And playing hard is good, but and something that will continue. But we've got to execute at the end of games just a little bit more efficiently in order to win.
The other, you said before the game you wanted to be a plus 15 on the boards, and you weren't against FDU. Any reason for that?
Yeah, you know what? I'm more so like a lot of long shots from them. Long rebounds. I thought we didn't do a good enough job of making contact early on our blockouts. More guys just like running right to the rim and then the ball bouncing over their head versus got to take a step, try to make contact, give yourself more area to rebound. So not from a lack of effort. We were only +6, I think, or +5 for the game, and we need to be better than that. But we always try to preach teams that shoot a lot of threes, long shots, long rebounds. So our perimeter guys got to pick up some of that stuff too.
All right, so the Tigers with that loss, but they were able to bounce back as we get set for our first break. When we come back, we'll see how the Tigers performed against the Red Storm of Rio Grande. The Tiger Basketball Report returns right after these words.
Tell your truth or just a lie. Is this hello or is it goodbye? Is this the low or is this the high? Just let it go, enjoy the ride. Without the low, there ain't a high. Ba 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 ba.
Hey guys, let's just put off.
Hey, what do you think?
This season, give the present of being present.
How long does it take to change the game of basketball? Days, years, decades? How about 0.4 seconds? All of a sudden, big ain't so big no more. Small ain't so small. The step back 3 is the new dunk. Follow through is the new poster. Range is the new hang time. How long to change the game of basketball? 1 second or less.
White Market's ice cream plant is based in Sunbury, Pennsylvania, and it's locally owned and operated. We've been making our ice cream for nearly 50 years. We create roughly 70 flavors of ice cream right now. We use local ingredients, especially our cream, which is from our milk plant. The cream is what gives our ice cream a rich and creamy texture. Now, together with our customers, we've created a product called Peanut Butter Indulgence, which will be coming out this summer. It's a peanut butter ice cream with sea salt caramel swirl, chocolate-covered pretzel. How could you go wrong with that? Personally, I love our ice cream. If you come to our house at any given time, you'll find at least 5 packets of ice cream in our freezer. Our kids grew up eating Wise quality ice cream, and now we get to treat our grandchildren to it. It's been a pleasure for me to be tasting ice cream for over 40 years to Wise Markets, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Welcome back to the Tiger Basketball Report. I'm your host, Spiro Morekas, joined by the head coach of the Tigers, Pat Skerry. This past Sunday, the Tigers welcomed in the Red Storm of Rio Grande into CQ Arena. It was the second game of a busy doubleheader. The Towson men took on the Red Storm immediately after the women took on Auburn. Against Rio Grande, the Tigers were able to get out to an early lead and never look back. And I'm sure you probably had some reservations before the game that your guys maybe could take this team lightly.
Yeah, I was happy with the way we responded. We had a long, the first time in my coaching tenure, we watched an entire game. Took our time watching it. Usually we clip stuff.
Play-by-play?
You betcha. Early Saturday morning. We came back late to Friday night. So I like the way the guys responded. Yes, we were better than them, but when you win both halves by 20 plus, it means that we were locked in pretty consistently and tried to spend a lot of time Saturday, Spiro, and then Sunday morning at shoot around, and that's something that's continued the last couple of days on improving some execution things. And I think that's something we've maybe found a little bit of a formula we're going to spend a little bit more time on with this group, and I think it's going to benefit us and kind of keep us on course so that we once in a while don't get caught up or deviate from our offensive game plan.
You made a change in the starting lineup. You had the freshman Jordan McNeil get his first start. What was behind that decision?
Just want to see how Mike Marcel responded. He responded very well. I think he's arguably top 2 most talented guys on the team, but he's, as I preached to him, his shooting percentage is not where it needs to be. And after 11 games, that either means he's not a good shooter, which nobody thinks is the case, or his shot selection needs to improve. So, the good thing about this group is we've started other guys at times, and as I tell them all the time, as we sit here, John Davis is the only guy in the program today that's ever gotten a vote for all conference, and he didn't start the whole year. And it was okay for him, and if you're about winning, it's going to be okay for you. So, but Mike responded really well. He came out ready to play, and I thought Jordan did a good job, and I do think, as a staff and with Jordan McNeil and Alex Thomas, 2 talented freshmen, and then Josh Ivory, who's going to get a look every night because he's a point guard, is the closer those guys are to consistently in double-figure minutes, and I think we'd have 10 guys. And on this Thursday-Saturday deal in our league, I think it could be a big, big benefit for us.
Absolutely. And Jordan did respond by scoring the first basket of the game and the first basket of the second half. So he played well.
He's a talented offensive player.
And I'm sure Alex Thomas was a guy you wanted to give more minutes, but Alex unfortunately got into foul trouble early, and you had to sit him in the first half.
He did, and Alex has practiced really well. Alex is a guy that, knock on wood, you don't ever want someone, if we lost a guy up front, he could very easily be playing 18 to 20 minutes. But, Foster and Parker are veterans and have played pretty good. If he just stays the course, as the season goes on, I anticipate him playing more, and he's a potential 3-year starter for us. There's no question about that.
Byron Hawkins again led the team in scoring, and Byron just continues to have a really, really good year. His assists aren't way up. Is that just a function of the way the offense runs?
No, I think it's a couple things. One, he's not turning over. He's 2-to-1 assist to turnover, which is a big step forward, and something we need. Second thing is he's a lead guard that can score the ball. And then thirdly, in his defense, the weakest thing right now with our team is our field goal percentage from 2-point land. We're shooting the ball like 300th best in the country, which is unbelievable. We need to be better. So it should be hot. He should have 2-3 more assists a game, but you got finished to get the assist. So I think that's a big product of it. You saw late in the game against FT. I thought he bailed us out on 3 possessions late clock. One in the late game, he made a gorgeous behind the back pass in traffic to John Davis for a layup. I mean, that was a heady play. So Byron's playing well. And one thing we talked about is making sure our guys understand too, like when we offensive rebound it, instead of shooting back into crowds sometime, that's the best time to shoot a three-point shot. And he's a terrific three-point shooter. If you don't have a clean offensive rebound, let's look for where's Byron on that perimeter. It's the best time to knock home a three, and something he does extremely well.
Yeah, he's among the conference leaders in three-point shooting as we get ready to head into conference play next week. It's time for another break. Stick around, fans, as we will look ahead to the Tigers' next game against the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. The Tiger Basketball Report with head coach Pat Skerry returns right after these words.
When cold refreshment calls, Coors Light answers. Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Obviously, you want to be playing your best basketball coming down the stretch. If you are, it's very, very possible. You get the madness of March, you can strike gold at the right time. It's not easy to get to, but it's the goal.
March Madness returns to Baltimore for the 2016 CAA Men's Basketball Championship. Be there March 4th through 7th at the Royal Farms Arena as your Towson Tigers chase their dreams of playing in the NCAA tournament. Towson fans can find the best seats by visiting TowsonTigers.com.
For an athlete, there's nothing scarier than a torn ACL.
Athletes trust us with their care and their careers because we're a recognized leader in sports medicine.
Get back to your active life sooner with MedStar Sports Medicine.
Rock and Jump, the ultimate trampoline park, is now open in Towson. Get big air and have big fun at Rock and Jump. You and your friends are sure to have a blast in our state-of-the-art jumping arenas. Want to be a rock star with your kids? Book their next birthday party at Rock and Jump. Our slam dunk zones, high-flying dodgeball, and super popular X-Beam make Rock and Jump the most rockin' birthday experience around. With a private party room and a personal party host, a Rock and Jump birthday party is great for the kids and easy on parents. Visit rockandjump.com for all the info to book your party today.
Playing basketball is a tremendous education. I've always felt athletics and the CAA prepares you well for life. You're constantly faced with adversity.
It builds character, it builds leadership.
Our kids recognize the need to be successful on the court for the rest of their lives.
One of these days, the air is going to come out of that ball. It's not going to be bouncing anymore. What are you going to do with your life? Get that degree, get a meaningful degree, so that whenever that ball stops bouncing, you'll be able to do something with your life.
Welcome back to the Tiger Basketball Report. I'm Spiro Morekas, joined by the head coach of the Tigers, Pat Skerry. This week, right before the holidays, the Tigers will have their final game of the Baltimore rivalry as they will take on the University of Maryland Baltimore County Retrievers, sponsored by Weiss Markets. This year, the Tigers have defeated Morgan, Coppin, and Loyola, and a win over UMBC would give them the clean sweep of the Baltimore Division I schools. Coach, I'm sure your players would have great pride if they were able to say at the end of Wednesday's ball game against UMBC, you know what, we beat every team in Baltimore.
Yeah, I think so. We certainly hope so. And you know, we need to be ready. It's an early game, so you're always a little concerned about that, but that happens a lot around the holidays. And UMBC can really score the ball. You know, the guard, Rodney Elliott, is played a great high school program here at John Carroll, and his dad is a super player at Maryland, and so he's really good. He can score it, he can pass it, he gets fouled, he shoots it. And they just got a kid eligible on Saturday, a transfer from VCU named Jarius Lyles. In his first game at Howard on Saturday, he had 28 points. So that's a pretty good transfer. So that DeMatha kid, so two very, very explosive guards. And then they shoot the three well. They got a freshman Sherborne who's averaging 14-point-something points a game, and then a local kid, Will Darley, averaging a dozen. And they're both those kind of 3-4 men that can face up and really shoot the basketball. And they got a good transfer in the kid Joyce that was there last year. He's a fifth-year kid, a double-figure post guy. So they're good, really good on offense. And it's going to start with taking away the three-point shot. And you know, you need to get a win going into break before conference play starts, and then hopefully get gain some momentum.
the other thing is UMBC, for them, this is a big game because they can beat you guys and they can end your so-called dominance over the Baltimore teams with the victory. So you know those guys are coming in motivated.
Yeah, we know they'll be ready to play. Coach Thomas has done a good job there, and he'll have them ready. And they'll be excited. And we thought we had a good day of practice. We'll go a little bit longer today and get after it, and we'll get after it and shoot around. And guys need to be locked in, and which I anticipate we will be.
I guess that's something you probably have to worry about every year around Christmas, is that guys may be looking forward to going back home and that kind of thing. Plus, CAA games start next week, so a lot of guys may be thinking, well, the real games don't start till next week,
I think you're always
and you look at UMBC's record, and it's not great, and maybe they look ahead.
It's always a concern. At the Division I level, the other teams always have 2-3 guys that if they get it going, especially with the 3-point shot, play zone, shrink the game. There's ways for teams to pull upsets. He's on 4 out of 7 series, so we're keenly aware of that. But, coming out of exams is always a concern. Right before the holiday, the Christmas break is always a concern for a lot of reasons. So, it's but you only get so many opportunities to put on the uniform, and these guys put a lot into it. So. We talked to them about hey, UMBC's gonna be ready to play a Super Bowl type of game. The good thing was, when we met yesterday watching film, William Moto said, well, this is a Super Bowl game for us too. So if we have that type of mindset, that'll be key.
Yeah, you mentioned that you only have so many times to put on the uniform. I don't think kids don't realize, and I've talked with a lot of kids through the years, Tamaj Parker Rivera has a chance to play in more games than anybody in the history of Towson basketball, and it's only going to be like 120, 121. So over the course of a lifetime, 121 days is not a lot.
Not for how many days they practice, and here in the summer, we preach about that all the time, and we've tried to talk more to our guys this year. I think we have 2 in Tamaj and in Josh Ivory. We have 2 not only good players, but 2 really good guys and good ambassadors of our program. These are guys you just would do anything for. They're such good guys, and they're seniors, so they don't get this game back. We talked about that Saturday, that they don't get Friday night's game back, and it's important to play for each other and play for those guys. And as we've talked about, if we can have the type of year we hope to have, TJ could leave here as the winningest player in the history of Towson basketball as a Division I program. That's a pretty good legacy to leave.
It certainly is, and right now, you already have the best record that the program's ever had after 12 games in Division I, 8-4. The team has never won 9 non-conference games in a season, so a lot of records that you could be building as this year goes on.
We hope the most important record is going to be in that first weekend in March, but you got to get better every day. You just can't turn the light switch on the first weekend in March and say, all right, we're ready to go now. That doesn't work that way either.
Yeah, as you get set, next week's show we'll spend more time obviously on the CAA, but as you look, it's going to be a dogfight every night in this conference because there are a lot of teams that are playing really well.
Yeah, if people thought the CAA was down or taking shots the last couple of years, it's back. It's 11th in the RPI, 10th in the Sagarin. It's a premier mid-major conference.
Which has never been that high. Even when you had VCU going to the Final Four.
League right now.
Right.
So I mean, there's going to be tremendous balance and parity. If you're asking me, can we compete? Can we win games? Absolutely. But we got to do it every night. And you got to win close games, and you got to stick together, and you got to stick to your script. A lot of teams have different styles, so there's a lot of ways to win. But there will be no lemons in conference play, and I think our guys are well aware of that. They, with the internet and their phones and all their gadgets, and they know guys on different teams. They know what's up.
Yeah, they certainly do. And I mean, already the CAA's got 3 victories against the ACC, and it's been quite a year for them so far. Do you like this Thursday, Saturday every week that the CAA's has gone to?
No, not at all. And the coaches vehemently did not want this. Now, we've got a great athletic director here, and I have a good relationship with them. I knew this was coming because he told me for a while the ADs in the conference office were preaching this. One thing we will talk about moving forward is we got the raw end of the conference schedule. If you really study it, and it's something I'm really disappointed in our conference leadership about. If you study other teams, like each week, you're Thursday, Saturday.
Right.
So everybody in the league has 4 either home, or aways.
Right.
North Carolina, Wilmington has 6 of those. We have 2. And my gripe to the league was, I don't know why they would have 6 and we have 2, and then 8 of the 9 weeks we're traveling. Where it's either home away or away home. So that's, 8 of the 9 weeks we're traveling. That's the bottom line. And what I don't like about it is, for instance, like we have like 3 Saturday games where the visiting team's going to be back on campus before we're back, just because of distance. So now that ain't an excuse. We're going to win those games. We're going to find a way to win those games, and our guys are going to become keenly aware of, in our opinion, how we were dealt a bad hand. But shame on the schedule makers for doing that.
We know who they are.
We sure do.
We have to take one more break, but we will be back with more of the Tiger Basketball Report right after this.
How long does it take to change the game of basketball? Days, years, decades? How about 0.4 seconds? All of a sudden, big ain't so big no more. Small ain't so small. The step back 3 is the new dunk. Follow through is the new poster. Range is the new hang time. How long to change the game of basketball? 1 second or less.
AT&T knows the best kind of holiday is the kind where everyone gets what they wished for. Make this holiday extra happy when you buy one, get one free on our most popular smartphones. Like the Samsung Galaxy S6. Buy one, get one free. So spread some cheer and capture every minute of it. Right now at AT&T, buy one, get one free on our most popular smartphones.
For an athlete, there's nothing scarier than a torn ACL.
Athletes trust us with their care and their careers because we're a recognized leader in sports medicine.
Get back to your active life sooner with MedStar Sports Medicine.
Welcome back to the Tiger Basketball Report. Coach, I normally have something to say, but all I can say to you is happy holidays and good luck against UMBC.
Spiro, thank you. Merry Christmas, Tiger Nation, and happy holidays.
There you go. The Tigers will be welcoming in the University of Maryland Baltimore County Retrievers here at CQ Arena this Wednesday at 2 p.m. presented by Weiss Markets. Tune in to CBS Sports Radio 1300 at 1:45 for the pregame show hosted by myself. Fans, make sure you use the hashtag Kings of Baltimore during the game. That's going to do it for this week's episode of the Tiger Basketball Report. For head coach Pat Skerry, I'm Spiro Morekas. Have a good weekend. As always, go Tigers.